All right, y'all, with the new season on the horizon and training camp is basically around the corner, let's talk about, this brand new team, let alone what players are feeling the most pressure. Because, like I said, we revamped this team in the offseason for the great, you feel me? Because, again, it definitely was needed. We definitely needed to get a lot younger, a lot faster, and everything like that. But with that said, it's going to come with some repercussions for fan-wise, at least, because some of your favorite players might not be here next season, let alone probably mid-season, you feel me? So with that being said, let's talk about the top 10 players that feel the most pressure going into the new season. First one on this list is one of my favorite players that's been here since we got him, was a few years back, and that is Frankie Louvu, aka my CTE missile, or OOS for a lot of the players there. One is because we revamped this damn linebacker room for the better. I ain't gonna hold you. Like, I get it, we upgraded from some bullshit to Frankie Louvu and Bobby, but since then, Joe Wick couldn't, call a defense and save his ass. Now Bobby's not here. Frankie's still is the only one really left. And then we got Leo Chanel, who is a young, incredibly strong, athletic freak of a linebacker who's an incredible run stopper, downhill run stopper at that, but who can also drop back in coverage and cover anybody if needed. You feel me? Because everybody knows that notorious play where he stopped Mark Andrews downfield and caught a pick off of Lamar Jackson. Crazy. We didn't add that last year. Then on top of that, we added another hybrid unicorn, Sonny Styles, who is a safety converted to linebacker, 6'5", 250, who can cover lateral speed, side out and side, and go downhill if he has to, can cover downfield at that, can play the Mike, the Will, the Sam, everything you need. He's everything we need in there, who could potentially be our starting, well, he probably will be our starting Mike and Green Dot. Where does that leave Frankie? Now, Frankie, yes, got, a really bad down season last year, and on top of that, had to play a makeshift, edge rusher and anything like that. But where does that leave him now? Because even then, we already revamped the outside linebacker room and / edge rusher room. Now you really don't know where to put him at there. Durante Jones, yes, he said he wants to line him up against, a lot of running backs that are in pass pro. That's cool. You send him there, like at the Tasmanian Devil against a damn running back. You really can't stop that nigga, because again, he really should have got that flag with the NFC Championship game where Saquon was holding him. But now the real question is, where do you put Frankie in this situation? We're in a 3-4 base defense, but you already have two, contributors already at the linebacker position. That's Leo, and then you have Sonny. And then the outside, your edge rushers, everything like that. You have Adafe Owe, you have Kayvon Chason, you have Dorrance Armstrong whenever he comes back. You have Joshua Josephs, you feel me? Joshua Josephs, he's going to probably be like the Van Ginkel role, who they definitely said they want to try to get him in there and contribute out there on the defense. So what do you do in that situation? Truthfully speaking, where do you put Frankie out there? And I like Frankie. I like our CTE missile. I love him. But what do you do in that situation where you basically have to sit him out there, or even in a rotation, he got to come off the bench and anything like that? Do you still try to get him on the field just enough to be a trade prospect midseason at a trade deadline, or what? Because he's on his last year in his contract. I don't think they didn't say they're going to try to extend him or anything like that. What do you do? Truthfully, what do you do? I still think he's a contributor, because you really don't know what you got in Jordan McGee. Hell, you can put him in the situation too. He's got a lot of upside, a lot of potential, a lot of speed. Doesn't really know how to use that speed just yet. He's fast, but he's too fast to where he'd be whiffing on tackles. So what do you do with Frankie? Truly speaking, that's why I say that he's got the most pressure, because now the question is, what do you do with him? We have a whole new linebacker room that can do a lot, and I mean a lot. What do you do with this shit? What do you do with him? And same thing with Jordan McGee. What do you do? We'll find out in training camp. We shall see with this whole brand new Durante Jones, Flores-esque defense. But what do you do with Frankie? He's going to feel the most pressure for sure. One of them, at least. Next on the agenda is Quan Martin. Quan Martin basically got written off by every fan at this point. I ain't going to hold you. He's definitely just gone in everybody's mind. It's so inconsistent, right? Because his rookie year, he played decent, got exposed towards the end, and I mean really got exposed towards the end, because Ronald Eugene Rivera and Jack Del Rio couldn't coach a defense to save his life. You put him one-on-one against Tyreek Hill, nigga got burnt. Terrible. Then Joe Wick came in here, acted like he knew what to do with Quan Martin, even though at Illinois he's more of like a box safety, if anything, like a nickel, playing better as a nickel than an actual free safety. So he kind of got fucked up there. But the first season with Joe Witt, he looked decent. The last season, he looked awful. really terrible tackling, can't really cover for shit. And now Durante Jones is here with his safety room, where we all know the secondary is the weakest one here, but he sticks out like a sore thumb now because Amik is now your new slot corner. You have now Rasul Douglas and Trey Amos and Mikey on the outside, and then there's no guarantees at the free safety position, especially now that we have Nick Cross as your strong safety. And who else? Will Harris can cover you for like a little bit. I will say that. Will Harris can cover you just for like a slight bit. I don't know if they have the utmost faith in them. Or you can, you probably got no faith in fucking Tyler Owens or Percy Butler, honestly. And Jamie Reeves is definitely not a free safety. A productive safety, like a backup, but nah. So you probably got Malik Spencer. But if you still think you can try to use Quan as like your free safety, rangy safety, that's not happening. I promise you right now. That's why he's feeling the pressure now, because now they're going to try to find a way to use Quan. He said he liked him, but you can't use him the same way. What are you going to do in this weak ass safety room, let alone this weak secondary group? Where are you going to use Quan at in this new defense? Because I know the showstopper itself is just the front seven, and the secondary is just supposed to, just react to whatever's happening up front. Now, with Quan, now they know that you're not a real free safety. What are they going to do with you? This is your time to shine, brother. This is probably your last season where you can show that you're still valuable to the team. Because next year, they can honestly just go get another free safety or another safety and a free agency, or decide to just like, screw it. We're just going to draft one. I'm just saying, there's a lot of pressure on you. The fan base is already pretty much turned against you. This is probably your last season to show out that you still belong to this team, truthfully speaking. But you're definitely going to feel some pressure going into this, especially at training camp too. The next two I'm grouping together because they're in the same group, and that is Jer'zhan Payne and Johnny Newton. Paycheck Payne is going to come out there, hopefully, and show why he still deserves at least another 2-year extension or something like that, right? But in this defense, you can't bullshit no more, brother. You can't. You're playing on your last, year. They didn't want to extend you. You brought in Shy Tuttle. You brought back Shy Tuttle. You brought back Tim Settle. So they already said, we got a contingency if we don't want to bring you back. Which I already feel like that's the case already. Because now in this 3-4 base defense, you got to be in some type of a fucking anchor. You got to bring out Paycheck Payne. You feel me? You got to be in a disruptor the entire time. You can't just sit here and not, play full 100% and full go on a damn, on a play every single time. You cannot be inconsistent whatsoever. You have to be a better interior pass rusher. You probably got to make more splash plays. You got to get a little bit more sacks. I don't say do the full Paycheck Payne play out there. You get an 11.5 sacks or anything like that. I'm not saying that, but you can't disappear. You can't disappear. I get it. Last year was an anomaly because we had no edge rushers, no any type of outside linebacker help, nothing. It was just absolute terrible. But now in the 3-4 base, you can't hide no more. You really can't hide. If you're playing like buns, Tim Settle's right there. They brought him back for a reason. He went away and he came right back. And it looked decent out there in Houston. I ain't going to you. And you need a bigger anchor out there. So can't hide. Same thing with Johnny Newton. Like, look, Johnny is it's split down the middle with the fan base where like people saying he was a waste because he was a 2nd round pick. But I also think there's some upside. I think he feels the pressure and he knows the expectation was going to go happen into this new season. Can't bullshit here. You're an undersized D tackle. You got to show that you can use that speed to get off the ball faster. I think you basically going to be the main role is going to be you're going to be a disruptor. I don't think you can get a lot of sacks like that, but I think that you got to somewhat play to what you lived up to at Illinois. You cannot bullshit around with this one for real. Because Johnny, I ain't gonna hold you, bro. They are already ready to replace anybody at a given notice, especially on this D-line. You saw what happened in the edge rusher room. You saw what happened in the outside linebacker room. You saw what happened in the linebacker room. That tackle room, brother, if you don't show that you can be at least a disruptor, you're gone. I ain't gonna hold you. They're definitely gonna move on for you fast. Same thing with Jer'zhan Payne, but knowing how this shit's gonna shake up, I think Jer'zhan Payne will be fine. Johnny though, spotlight's on you, brother. Spotlight's on you. Next on this one, we can really just kind of breeze past in is Brandon Coleman. So thumb over here. You lost to the left guard spot to Chris Paul for some reason. I don't know what happened. And behind the scenes, they just said, not scratch that. Chris Paul's going to get it. And Chris Paul, he did it. Outstanding job to the point where I thought, I was like, oh, he might, we'll lose him in the offseason and he'll get signed by somewhere else. Clearly, I was wrong, like all hell. But now you're back. time to shine. You gotta do it. This is gonna be the one. This is gonna be the one of the few position battles I think people are gonna be heavily, and I mean heavily, looking at, because the center position, I think everybody just kind of accepted the fate that, you know, Allegretti is gonna be the starting center. If not him, he'll probably be Gulpin, but who knows? But now the left guard position, you lost it once. Will you lose it again? Who knows? Because it's a whole different offense. It's a whole different offense. You're more athletic than Chris Paul, and we definitely need more of an athletic guard for someone who needs to run like the outside zone, be like a pulling guard and anything like that. You are more athletic than he is. Time to show it. If you lose to him now in training camp, and you don't have a starting job, which I doubt, I highly doubt you don't win it. But if you don't win it, you're gone. You're gone. I think they're going to try to package you up and get you out of there. Honestly speaking, I really, really do. So that's all I got to say for Brandon Coleman. Just, you have to win. You're way more athletic. The pressure's on you now because we thought you were going to be the starting guard last year. But, you know, injuries and anything like that and whatever the fuck happened behind the scenes, just where you just said, nah, you're going to be benched. So hopefully, brother. I hope you feel this pressure, but it is going to be one of the few that people are actually going to be looking at. So don't fuck up. Don't fuck up. Next on this list is Mikey. Now, Mikey, I like Mikey. I think he'll be all right. He'll prevail. Again, a lot of down season. Again, Joe Witt's defense is just nothing that people wasn't prepared for. You feel me? Man on man, everything. Even though you drafted a zone corner who excels well at zone, and he showed he's a turnover machine when y'all playing more zone. But then you know, weak ass, front seven that couldn't get any type of pressure along. But Mikey's definitely gonna feel it because again, when he was man to man situation, he was getting beat like a drum. So now we're going into this. Now that we have two new corners, right? Rasul Douglas, who's basically going to be out there for the outside. Then you have Amik Robinson, who's going to be for there on the inside. And then you have Mikey, who's an anomaly, who can play on the outside and someone on the inside. But on the inside, he struggles a lot for some odd reason. For someone who we drafted as a slot corner, he struggles a lot there. I mean, really, really does. But then again, it was a lot of man-on-man, situation. But what do you do with Mikey? Do you keep him on the outside? Which I do think they do. But if you do that, you got to for sure make sure you play more of a zone scheme than a man-on-man shit. Because you keep playing on man-on-man, he's going to struggle. I'm sorry. Because I already know y'all was already considering looking at corners and everything like that. Because I thought y'all was going to get Mansell Delane. And I was just like, that's already telling right there. But you already made it crystal fucking clear that you are still looking at secondary stuff. Everybody in the secondary should feel some type of pressure on their back because knowing that y'all are definitely replaceable because it's definitely the weakest group. And Mikey, unfortunately, even though I like him and I do think he'll be all right, you gotta play well, pimp. You gotta play really, really well because they already got Rasul Douglas just ready in the tuck, ready for it, just ready to jump in there at a given notice. You feel me? So, and we try to see what we got in training modes because this is his second year coming off an injury and anything like that, and we ain't seen nothing in OTA. So we shall see. We shall see. Next on this group is Ben Sinnott. Yes, Ben Sinnott. Someone who's getting a lot of praise out there from OTAs and anything like that. Trying to get accustomed to this new offense and everything like that. I'm okay with that. I'm glad he's feeling this pressure. I know he was going to feel this pressure. We gave him a lot of slack. I gave him a lot of slack because if you're going to be a second round pick as a tight end and then still not see the field, let alone if that was just Cliff being ignorant, this coaching staff don't believe in younger players, or you just simply don't have the skills to be up enough to be at least a backup tight end, because you were tight end 4, not even like 2, you were 4. So Ben, you're definitely going to feel the pressure because now time to shine, kid. We already know Chigakonko was going to be number 1. We already know John Bates is going to be your run blocking tight end. Who was going to be our next pass catching tight end? And I saw when Lake Lewis was on Real Robinson show that he's going to be playing that Chris Cooley, fullback tight end role. Exactly what Ben was doing in college. How he should have been playing in this, on this offense. But Cliff couldn't do that. He didn't believe in playing like shit like that. He didn't believe in playing under center. He's more of, a pistol shotgun guy. So now we're in this new offense. Ben, it is your time. Pressure's going to be on now, kid. Because we can't just solely just throw out there Chigakonko every given moment. You got to go out there too. You got to put your hand in the dirt on some of it. You also got to get out there and run some routes, kid. I think this coaching staff is going to actually believe in you and actually put you on the field. But when you go on that field, please, for the love of Jesus, show outs. I believe in you, kid. I believe you and Chigakonkwo can actually be a dangerous fucking pass-catching tight end duo, but it's only if you get a chance. I don't know if they just didn't believe in you last time, but I really feel like the pressure here is going to help you excel, and that's all we can hope for, honestly speaking. So, but Ben, don't disappoint, my boy. Don't disappoint. Next is Bill, and yes, I'm going to keep this one short. We already knew that they were looking at another running back. If Jeremiah Love would have got down there to where we at 7, they were taking him. So now, Bill, the pressure on you is to show that you are just not some industry plant that everybody likes to fucking call you, and show that you are actual RB1. Everybody likes to, doubts in you and saying that you are not RB1 material, even though you averaged 4.1 a carry, or no, 4.8 a carry, and still had 800 yards total, even though Cliff didn't want to use you. The potential's there. But now you got to prove it to them. Because again, now you see that your faith in you is just like, yeah, it's there, but they just don't probably see you as an RB1. Jeremiah Love was right there. Hell, they was in a conversation to go get Kenneth Walker. Then you brought in Rashad White. So you gotta feel that pressure, pimp. That they technically don't want you at some point. I mean, somewhat don't like it. So, I mean, as a fan, I call you Kill Bill, Chill Bill, you feel me? Anything like that. But you definitely got to feel that pressure now. That are you legitly a RB1 in their eyes? Now you got to go out there and prove it. I feel like this outside zone West Coast offense is going to help a little bit for sure. But yeah, time to go prove it, kid. Pressure's on. Next on this list is the obvious one. I'm going to keep it very, very, very quick, and that is Jayden Daniels. Again, everybody wants to call him injury prone and everything like that. They don't say the same thing about, freaking Joe Burrow, who has way more significant season-ending injuries than Jayden. You feel me? Even though Jayden missed significant time, now everybody wants to drive home with this RG3 situation coming in high, which is so stupid. I hate it so much. But now it's on, kid. Pressure's on. Now with that Netflix show out there and everything like that, showing that you have PTSD from your elbow, which is, valid, you dislocated your goddamn elbow, but you feel this pressure now. And I hope you feel this shit really well. Because now you got to go out there and go prove it again and again. Because now we're being the one who's hunted again. Now they're saying that you just all skin and bones. You just, one hit wonder, RG3 2.0. Go show them. Fuck them. Go show them what you got, kid. And now that you got to feel this pressure all over again, learning a new offense, basically with this whole diva drama with your damn homeboy Brandon Ayuk and everything like that. Go show him, kid. Go prove it to the world one more time that you belong in this damn league and you're the best quarterback in that draft class. Because I'm tired of the disrespect and I'm tired of it. But the pressure's on now. Everybody had you at high standards. Now let's go prove it to them that you still belong in those high regards and those rankings as one of the best QBs out there. And the last one on this is I'm just going to group them all together. And that's the wide receiver room. Terry's got to prove himself that he's worth the money, that, it doesn't matter that he's 31. He's still considered as an unquestioned wide receiver 1, which is so ridiculous at this point. And then everybody else is going to be the proving point that, like, do we still need help? Because I know we overlooking that, bringing in Brandon Ayuk or Stephon Diggs or even Keenan Allen at this point to be our wide receiver 2. Now they got to prove themselves. Luke McCaffrey was looking solid before he got injured. Jalen Lane's got to work on his hand. Antonio Williams looks a lot promising for a slot wide receiver, who I think he's going to make a difference out there. And then after that, it's just a bunch of meh. You feel me? Like, it's just De'Ami Brown. Yeah, he's a speedster, and he definitely was helped before, but we need playoff De'Ami. We don't need, like, regular season De'Ami. We need help. Then you have, Van Jefferson, if he does make this team. Traylon Burks, who everybody swears up and down that, he's going to make a huge difference. And just because he's at the wide receiver 2 position at OTAs doesn't mean he's going to be the wide receiver 2 going into training camp. Let's just get that out there. You have a lot of faith in this kid who did one-handed catch and then absolutely nothing afterwards. For his sake, he better be productive. For all their sake, this wide receiver group better be fucking productive. Because I know for a fact, they're still looking for wide receiver help. No matter what's going on with this whole Brandon Ayuk drama, even with the Stephon Diggs drama that nobody likes to bring up, they're still looking. That faith in that wide receiver room is not as high as y'all think it is. I mean, it's a lot better than what it was last year, but again, they're feeling the pressure. That's going to be the most scrutinized, position group this entire season, let alone going into the offseason. So pressure's on for them the most. I ain't even gonna hold you. But if you enjoyed today's video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and share, but and comment down below, who do you think is the most, or who do you think, what player has the most pressure going into the next offseason? You feel me? Because I truthfully think it's either Frankie Louvu or like the secondary or the wide receiver group in general. You feel me? But y'all let me know down in the comments below how y'all feeling about that. It's your boy AZ. Till next time.